Oh, wow. You're actually wearing your hair down tonight.
Yeah, because I finally decided that I love my hair. I figured out the solution for my morning frizz, midday poof, and even next day bedhead. It's Frizz E's Secret Weapon Touch-Up Cream by John Frieda.
Well, you and your hair look flawless.
Flawless and touchable. Feel.
Oh.
See? It's soft. Smooth ends, no flyaways, shiny.
Well, I clearly need to get some because your hair looks amazing.
Frizz E's Secret Weapon, only from John Frieda.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
Jimmy Mack is a renowned medical intuitive and spiritual life coach who has taken, completed, and even mastered a variety of healing modalities. After a near-death experience, he was shown and developed a simpler way to create healing and profound changes, now known as My Liquid Fish. He works with clients in person, on the phone, and over Skype worldwide, accessing energetic powers and co-creating changes that you can actually feel. Call in now to reserve your spot on the switchboard. The call-in number is 713-955-0594. Press 1 if you would like to ask Jimmy Mack a question. Enjoy this 1 hour of profound healing.
Hey everybody, it's Jimmy Mack coming to you live from Clearwater, Florida. Hopefully everybody's having a fabulous Hallmark brought to you Valentine's Day. And whether you're with the love of your life or yourself, it all starts with you, of course. So exude that love, and we'll work on it today. Even if it's all about receiving love for yourself, giving love to others, feeling deserving, worthy, all those things. And you blend all that up, you're bound to have things increase for you in favor and in a dramatic way. So we'll say turbocharged, supercharged prayers for you folks today. Anybody that's listening or ever will listen to the broadcast, we appreciate you being here. We hope you'll call in and ask questions, and we'll get to today's co-host in just a minute. We try and make every effort to have somebody different on every week. We like to keep it stirred up and interesting. Next Tuesday is my dear friend Charlotte Timpone. She is an Oriental physician, doctor of Oriental medicine, and acupuncture physician. Does a lot of physical work and physical healing, and of course nutritional work. Incredible amount of that, of course, and muscle testing, really strict applied kinesiology with, I think his name is Klinghardt, one of them. She studied with him, pretty much the founder of all that, so I'm doing very strict muscle testing. So it's very interesting. She's out of Tampa, Florida. I know she'll add a lot to the show as well. And can take your calls. And in Florida, the acupuncture physicians, by the way, are recognized as primary care physicians. So isn't that interesting? So very often the insurances will even pay for them, and people with car wrecks can actually go get acupuncture and do different forms of energy healing and medicine blend in. I'm sure there's not a code for that, but there certainly is for acupuncture and trying to get folks better. So join us here every Tuesday, and then the following Tuesday after that, of course, is our resident psychic, Reverend Debbie, and she is a trans medium that communicates with those who have crossed over. Very profound, very interesting. She never ceases to amaze. The last time she's on the last Tuesday of the month, and a woman called in, and she picked up on the fact that the woman calling in's mother's name was Mary. So it's be a little much when you hear that, and they're in spirit, right? It's no longer a coincidence. So I love it. It's always interesting to me, and I find it fascinating. Hey, speaking of fascinating, today's guest is Linda Rosenbaum. She's an author, speaker, and master dowser. She's a real great energy healer as well. Linda's somewhat shocking memoir exposes her life of mayhem and misery. It's caused by severely afflicted ADD and ADHD of her husband, and that was later in 2011 after learning about the Pendulum Dowsing She progressed spiritually beyond her wildest dreams and eliminated his symptoms and became a well-known ADD, ADHD expert and healer. She's spoken towards a lot of different groups and been on various shows. We really feel like she would feel like and express to you her gifts were actually upgraded by God and using proprietary protocols changed lives by healing conditions, myself included, profound work. And she will tackle issues like Parkinson, COPD, dementia, fibromyalgia, essential tremors, swallowing issues, allergies, and so much more. So if you have any of that stuff today, folks, or if you'd like to even go and do something for someone you know that does have that, you can call in and press 1 and we'll take your call. And I don't care if you want to work on your Uncle Freddie in Nebraska, we can actually do that as well and see what we can stir up for you. Linda's all about stimulating the mind to heal the body, of course, and loves to share how she's able to do this remotely for anyone in the world. It's just a long, comprehensive session. She generally does those well after midnight. Not uncommon for me to get emails from her at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning. That's a scream to me. So God love her for being up that late. I'm long since gone, but she just does fantastic work. Can't tell you enough good things about her, and really enjoy working with her. Excited to have her on the show. The title of her book is My Husband Has ADD and the Miraculous Discovery That Changed Our Life. You can find out more about her at author, AUTHOR, Linda Rose. That's her email, LINDAROSE@gmail.com, or www.myhusbandhasadd.com. Hey, Linda, how are you? Welcome to today's show.
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
Awesome, love. Happy Valentine's Day to you and everybody that's listening.
Thank you, and I'm so glad you've had me join you on your show today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, we'll stir it up, at least for us, if nothing more, right? We always have fun.
Ooh, absolutely, and it was so great to have you last month at our Dowsing chapter meeting. There's still talk
thank you.
about it.
Oh, wow, that's great. That was a big crowd there at the Unity, so that was nice.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. And you healed a lot of people there, and we were all fascinated, especially by that last woman who came up, the one you hoped was interesting, and boy, was she ever.
Right, make it interesting, please.
Yeah, well, it was so fascinating how she went so forward and so backward, and she stayed put. Thought she was going to fall over, but she didn't.
She didn't. The spirit held up the end of the bargain, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, I love seeing you guys, and, we make it every year. Mary's a doll, so she's easy and fun to work with. And, of course, my girls came and helped out, and that was awesome. Sandy's always
to see them.
Yeah.
I also need to tell you that I joined your monthly prayer program recently, and I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I haven't had much chance to talk to you because I've been so busy, but my husband's diabetic glucose numbers have dropped significantly.
Oh, wow.
And now he's in safe levels, and we hope to keep him there, so there'll be no need for insulin. We were getting kind of worried about that, but it dropped beautifully, so we're happy on that, Jimmy.
I love that. That's amazing. We never know what we're going to get, and, I think that's part of the fascination of what we do, as you well know. And it's always interesting. Every little case is different, and, so folks have had profound changes dealing with my monthly prayer program. Anybody wants to reach out, just info. Mine is info at jimmymackhealing.com. So anyone that wants to press 1 right now, you can ask a question of Linda or myself. We'll work on you for healing. But yeah, definitely folks that I've done that for a very long time for people who are wicked famous, as my mother would say, or terribly wealthy. And so I just finally opened it up to those folks that are out there that want to deal with it. It's, pretty inexpensive compared to going to Starbucks every day. And I've had people that have just written me just the longest emails ever, that everybody on their prayer list, something changed profound for them. So that's really exciting. So thank you for bringing that up and reminded me.
Well, thank you.
Folks can reach out. Yeah, folks can reach out anytime to us, of course, and email us. And, questions are free, and we'll certainly put you in the right direction. If it's something that we can handle, we will. If it's something we don't handle, then we certainly refer you perhaps to somebody else. So not a problem in that as well. Tell folks more about what you do and how you operate, Linda. And I know it's more at night, it's remote, it's Pendulum. You've got your own little lists, I'm sure, like anybody would. But tell folks just a basic overview of how that works.
Okay. Well, I actually started in 2011 with ADD, and I find that it works best for me to work in the middle of the night. The universe is open, it's quiet, and so I usually start after midnight and I go till dawn, which could be 4, 5, whatever in the morning. And what I do is I stimulate the mind to heal the body depending on what disease they have. Now I work on several disorders and diseases. I do this remotely so people can be anywhere in the world. They do not have to be present. As you well know, remote means you don't have to be there. And I do it just one session. It's kind of like you can go to sleep with your disorder or disease and wake up in the morning and it's gone. I'm doing the work in the middle of the night for you. So
isn't that wild?
I can heal things. In case people know, you kind of mentioned dementia, Parkinson, COPD, Barrett's esophagus, allergies, ADD, essential tremor. But people can call me about something that's troubling them. I may or may not be able to heal them, but I can douse while they're on the phone, and I can tell them if I can or not. What I do is that they be resting, if not asleep. And also, there's no side effects, no diet, no supplements are involved, and so it's just pure stimulating to the mind that I do it. The mind is powerful, as you know, Jimmy, very powerful.
You bet. No, and I can attest to that because I know you worked on me and, you know, even figured out without me ever telling you about my wink high IQ and different things like that, which I don't ever talk about, and same for my son. And so it's very interesting to me, just the things that came up from Spirit. And I never told you anything, so Spirit is really all-knowing. And at the end of the day, folks, this is supercharged, turbocharged prayer. I really feel like it's a jump between body, mind, and spirit, and, you know, just really connecting with the
steroids, Jimmy.
Yep, steroids. Yeah, that's true.
It's really so instant. It's prayer on steroids. It's asking you shall receive, practically. So I have my little protocols for each disease. I've developed what I need to ask for. I have my list of questions for Parkinson's. I've done my research on it. I listen to people beforehand. I take about an hour and I chat ahead of time to know exactly what I need to find out from the people. And, of course, I always work with my spiritual team. I could not do this alone. I have a spiritual team which consists of 4 archangels I call in, my 6 guides, and 17 angels, and, of course, God. I could not do this without them. They are there. If I cannot do a healing for someone, they will let me know. I do ask permission so that I'm sure that I'm not violating any laws of the universe, that my guides will help me. And I've developed quite a system right now where they can signal me if I need to get more information. They confirm things for me. It's kind of like for the deaf, we have a program that we've set up, the spirit guides and myself, so that I'm really communicating with them. I do hear their words sometimes. For example, I was healing a woman of ADD, and the whole time I was healing her, I kept getting this word in my head, and it was thyroid. So I said, okay. Are you telling me she has a thyroid condition? And they were so relieved I asked, and they go, yes. So when I did her report, because I send everyone a report when I'm done, as you know, you got one too.
Right.
I said to her, you also have a thyroid condition. And I just let it be. Well, didn't she contact me within hours and said, you're not going to believe this. She said, I got a call from my doctor this morning because I had blood tests taken last week, which you did not know. And he called this morning to tell me that I have a thyroid condition, but you already knew. She says, I didn't. So,
right.
I never know what I'm going to get. They provide what I need. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what makes it exciting. One of my mentors and teachers really is a chiropractor out of San Diego area, and he specialized in cancer and whatnot. Hector Garcia, and that's all he did was pretty much cancer. But he, once told us in practitioner training that 70% of all disease is thyroid. So that's kind of interesting. And it's a thermostat of the house, and folks generally don't feel safe or comfortable. We're always putting a sweater on, taking something off, or adjusting the thermostat in the house. In the car, it's like, you need only turn on the news to realize you don't feel safe. So it's all about being safe and comfortable. That's one of the first things I do too. But that's really interesting that came up on thyroid, and what great kismet and good luck that is, right? It's really interesting. So I think that's part of the fascination of what we do. I really do. It's very
well.
It's always
every day is a learning experience for me too. I'm always learning, and I'm finding new ways to do things. And one of the things I started to do this year was emotional clearings. And I found that, boy, in this day and age, people really need emotional clearings. It's turned out to be very popular. It puts people back on track. There's a lot of forgiveness people have going on, and it prevents them from going forward in their life. So that's become very popular in addition to the diseases and disorders that I heal. So
love that.
I would recommend, if you're not feeling too good, maybe look to an emotional clearing. That might help a lot of people as well. And,
yeah.
And I always do get permission. I want people to know I don't decide to do this. I always ask, may I, can I, should I? And if I get no to any of those, I don't proceed. One thing I believe in is safety first all the time. And so
Sure.
I'm very careful.
Okay.
And
I look at it as, of course, the permission is given when, if they're emailing me, writing me, and then they pay me money and want this session, then, like in theta healing, which I love, they want to ask permission for every little thing they change. But Spirit looks at it as, and Richard Bartlett once said in Matrix Energetics, if you see someone laid out on the sidewalk, and they're just in a car wreck, you don't go revive them and go, hey, do you mind if I pray for you? So pretty much my theory is if they engage me, right. You're on board. You're on board for some change. I'm not going to, quote unquote, change it willy-nilly or, against your will, but I'm going to ask for God's highest and best change. So awesome. Hey, let's take a caller and see what we can stir up. Area code 818 is Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn. You're on live. How are you?
Hi. Hello.
Hey, how are you? You got a question for Linda?
I guess it's not a psychic question. What I had been thinking about, I wanted to move, and I was trying to figure out. Well, I'm gonna have to start looking when I can, but I was thinking about what would be a good area for me. Match my energy, my vibration.
What are our choices on that, Carolyn? And I'm sure Linda could even ask Spirit and Douse for you right now if you've got 3 choices. I mean, San Diego, LA, San Francisco. I mean, what are you looking at? States, cities? Narrow it down for us a little bit.
Cities, Torrance, Manhattan Beach, or Long Beach.
Okay.
What are you asking to find out?
That's correct.
Yes,
she wants to know what area she could move to.
Yes, Torrance, Manhattan Beach.
I'm sorry, is this, she wants to know where to move to?
Correct. She's asking where it might resonate best with her on where to move to.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you give me 2 of your favorite places that you're thinking of? I'll do that for you.
Okay, Manhattan Beach, California, and Torrance, California.
Which it's getting kind of gobbled up in the phone. Tell me them again. What town?
Manhattan Beach, California, and Torrance, California.
And Torrance, okay. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to douse. and find out whether you want Manhattan Beach or Torrance, California. Now, if you'll bear with me for just a minute, I'm swinging my pendulum, and I'm asking on your behalf. Tell me your first name.
Carolyn.
Carolyn. Okay, Carolyn.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm swinging my pendulum, and it's going to point in a minute and tell me what you would probably be happier at.
Yes.
I'm getting Manhattan Beach.
Oh, okay.
And anything that's attached to it would make me very happy, too. I love the beach.
I do, too. And I wanted to get close to the beach, yeah, so I could, look at it, walk near it, and meditate. And I feel good when I go in that area.
Okay.
That's what I get, Carolyn. It's not even close to the other choices. It's Manhattan Beach all day long. I have clients that live there on the beach. I mean, none of it's cheap, but it's wherever you can, find a place where you feel comfortable. But certainly in that area, it tests outstanding to me. The other two test weak. When I ask Spirit, and Manhattan Beach is the same one I'm getting as well.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that.
Where you're going next, right?
That's where I'm going next. I just felt energy when I'm in that area. I feel tingling and I feel alive. And I live in Carson, and it just felt like there's no energy here. I know it has to be maybe low energy. I just don't feel right here. Mm-hmm. And I've been here 13 years, and I'm in a nice area, a nice complex. I just don't feel alive. So I kind of like any of the beach cities. I don't have to be right there by the beach, but close enough anywhere around that area. So I just been thinking about it and driving by, and I said, okay, I want to pinpoint, an area and start looking. I thank you for that.
You bet. How far of a drive is it for you now?
It's only 30 minutes.
Okay. So, your other choice is you're driving there every day at some point, right? So,
right.
Over time, I'd probably be driving there on purpose. In other words, I would be actually looking at places,
I'll come and
okay, yeah.
Sounds really great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. I perk up when I hear that, the name of that city. And I've just been thinking about it lately, so I said I'll ask about that. It's not a psychic lesson, but, I'm good. Jimmy, I don't have any problems or issues to talk to you about. I think you've patched me up. You've did a lot of good work. I'm, following through on everything you've told me in the past, and I'm good today.
Good for you. Yeah. Well, isn't that progress, right?
It is. It's always progress.
That's a dream. Yeah, I always say make progress every day, and I want the rest of your life to be the best of your life. So when you originally started calling them, you had, some issue or disease or illness, disorder, something going on. Pretty much you could count on every finger and thumb, and so to narrow it down to be doing this great and considering a move to Manhattan Beach, I think you're in a dreamy place. It's awesome. So excited for you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you for all the hard work you've done.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you for the feedback.
Okay. I have a good show. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in. Appreciate it, love.
Okay.
Happy Valentine's. Linda, do you find that folks have to be somewhat engaged in it? Have you noticed better results pretty much from them being completely asleep at the time? Doesn't much matter. You're engaged into their higher self anyway, or you're asking that body, that brain, their spirit. What's the best way to go about it?
Yeah, anytime I can ask questions, it's when I get into the healing that I say I set up my shop, and that's in the middle of the night. That's when I get into the healing part and get very, very serious. It can take me 4 to 5 hours to do a healing. because I massage every single symptom. It's just a different style. What I love about healers, and I know so many, and I love them all, and we have different styles of healing, and it's been fascinating for me to learn all the different ways people do get the end results that are needed, which is what we're all looking for, to get those end results to help people. So I do want to tell people about my book a little bit, Jimmy. That's how I started.
Oh, good. Yeah, please do, and how they can get it.
Yeah, they can get it through Amazon, but also if they go to my website, which is www.myhusbandhasadd.com, it'll take you right to Amazon, and you can read the reviews on it. But the book has changed lives for people. ADD, as many people know, but even more don't, is a devastating mental disorder. And I just spoke to someone yesterday who said to me, I thought that was something children get and they outgrow it. And I said, there are 15 million adults walking around with ADD now. Many don't even know they have it. So I was pretty miserable by 2011 because I had lived with it for decades with my husband and son when I stumbled upon dowsing. Marriages and relationships of all kinds, and it ends just before I became a healer. And that
Love
was
it.
a stepping stone, yeah. So it's helped a lot of people. If you think that somebody in your home has ADD, or if you know someone who acts a little off, strange, or has terrible issues, it's something to look into. But that's how I got started, and from there I realized as my vibrational healing level rose, I was able to heal other things too. It's quite awesome. I'm quite amazed by it myself. I have to tell you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it keeps it always interesting. I know. Do you find too that people might have an ADD, ADHD, and OCD, and all that colliding into one thing? You just knock them out one at a time, pretty much.
Yes, as a matter of fact, very often people with ADD, I'm finding even more so lately, have other issues going on. And, for example, I had a client last week who had ADD, and in the process, I found out that they also had Asperger's, which is the highest form of well, it's a higher form of ADD, you might call it. It's actually worse in many ways. So I had been told that I could not heal Asperger's, but that I could heal ADD, which I have been doing. So that kind of annoyed me because my spirit said, no, you can't eliminate it. So I got to thinking about that, and I found another way to get around it. Instead of eliminating it now, I neutralize it and disarm it, so it's just as if I don't have it anymore. And that has made a tremendous difference because if I heal you of ADD and I take that all away so you're 100% cleared and you still have Asperger's, it's going to still be troublesome for you. So I really had to figure out another way to do it, and Spirit helped me, and it was just awesome. It changed everything. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's what I say all the time too, Jimmy. Wow.
Yeah. Right. And that's part of the fascination. Like I said earlier, we never know what we're going to get, or how it's going to turn out. But it's like, geez, people might come to you or me both with 5 or 10 things wrong, and they'll call back later, or email later and go, oh, it didn't help this, didn't help that, and I go, I'll say something like, well, how's your arthritis? Oh, well, that's gone. I don't have any pain whatsoever. It's like, well, was that worth half an hour? I mean, are you kidding me? You've had it for 30 years, right?
Exactly.
So it's really quite funny the reactions we get sometimes, and it's like sometimes it didn't come on in a minute, and it may not be gone in a minute either, and our bodies act like the little Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It might take a little bit of time to work through it, but then things can seem to radically change overnight as well. So I never know what we're going to get, but that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun and excitement and the challenge, if you will. So,
yeah.
Awesome.
I had a call from someone with Parkinson's who I healed, and of course tremors are generally, not always, but generally involved with Parkinson's. So he contacted me and he said his left hand was fine, but his right hand still had some tremor left. So I got to work and I contacted my spirits, and I said, something's going on. Why is his right hand not cooperating as much? Well, didn't I get a great answer? He had some sort of injury in his hand, which I didn't know about, and it was blocking the goodness to go through on that hand completely. So I contacted.
Oh, wow.
That was amazing. I had no idea. So I contacted him and I said, so what's going on? Did you ever have an accident or an injury? I'm getting there's a blockage. And so he said, yes. He said, I'm telling you this. He said, but it was 30 years ago. I had a bad accident with my wrist, and glass shads were in there, and I had surgery on my wrist. But that was 30 years ago. And I said,
that's a pretty important, yeah, right? That's a pretty important piece to leave out, right?
Yeah, well, he didn't think about it, so, it was healed. He said, but it's healed. I said, well, it is healed, except you have scar tissue that's blocking it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to work on the scar tissue then and flatten that out so that he could go forth and be healed completely. So
wow.
I tell people, you need to tell me things that even if you think they're insignificant, there is significance, perhaps, for what I'm doing for you.
I love it.
Dopamine, too, Jimmy. I work with dopamine, and more recently I found out that mitochondria is crucial as well for most diseases now. That provides the energy to cells, and the size, the quantity, and the quality do matter, and that gives people good energy because so many of these diseases are energy sapping. They just drag people down, and by raising the standards and level of the mitochondria, it gives them back their energy. And you know all about it. I mean, that's the happy hormone.
Right. Well, and I always, one of my blanketed statements is organs, glands, and systems and hormones are in balance, and 9 times out of 10 they're not, of course. So we would then work on that to show up better in a more profound way for whomever we're working with, and that's what we want to do, at least change that or upgrade it so it's much more powerful. So yeah, couldn't agree with you more. Hey, we got another caller, 904. You're on live. Where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hi, Jimmy. This is Darlene in Jacksonville, Florida.
Hey, Darlene. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm calling for my niece who is listening.
Okay.
She has a 262 number, and you said you could do like remote. She gets so anxious trying to talk to someone that I'm calling for her.
Okay.
And she has PTSD, anxiety, and then also her son. She just wants to know if there's anything that can be done. Her son has what they call a sensory processing disorder, and I think it's like ADD, where he is full speed all the time.
Wow.
Linda? It sounds like we're talking about ADD. That would cover pretty much what you're talking about. I don't know enough exactly about it, but tell me again what was he diagnosed with?
He was diagnosed with, it's called a sensory processing disorder.
Okay. That may or may not be involved with ADD. What is it that give me an example of what his problem is related to that.
What do you mean? I mean, he's constantly, he's on the go. He's getting into things. He doesn't listen. He jumps on the coffee table.
That's ADD.
He's just turned 4, so he probably has not been diagnosed with anything beyond that.
He's 4, you said?
Yes.
Okay. I just healed someone who was 4 years old who was off the wall. Let me give you an idea. I'll read you some of the symptoms for ADD. See if you can relate to them. Focus, concentration, clarity, confidence, irritability, agitation, anger, stubbornness, hyperactivity, moodiness, risky behavior, forgetfulness, short-tempered, doesn't make good decisions, not very good socially. But at 4 years old, a lot of these things are hard to ferret out because they don't have a lot of background. There's not a lot of life that they've been living. Usually ADD is not diagnosed until they get into school, and that's when they have focusing problems. They usually are not very willing to listen to others. They have trouble communicating. Are any of these things resonating with this child?
Absolutely. Also, he has no fear. He is not afraid of anything. He's also aggressive, both physically and verbally. And he cannot, like hot and cold doesn't bother him. Like
he's got what we call risky behavior. I will tell you one thing. He's very bright. People with ADD are very smart people. They have a lot of trouble with life. Now, he's experiencing what I call childhood ADD. When he gets to be a teen and a little bit older, he's going to be phasing into adult ADD. That's when you really get into trouble. I mean, you have abilities. You don't have somebody watching over you or putting you out in a timeout corner. So it sounds like ADD is his issue. He's a smart little guy, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
you can see that little brain just working.
If you tell me his first name, I'll try and see what his IQ is for you.
Okay, his first name is Corbin, Corbin.
Okay, Corbin. I'm going to ask what his IQ is. Hang on a second. Wow. I'm impressed. He has 150 IQ.
Oh, my gosh.
You know that's very, very high.
Well, it runs in our family.
Okay. Well, that's the thing about ADD. It's inherited. So I had 5 people in my family I had to fix initially. The thing about ADD people is they're very, very bright, but they do have trouble negotiating life. Everything else gets in their way. So by balancing everything, usually there's 50 symptoms, maybe sometimes more, it depends, that I have to address so that I actually hit everything that's needed to make him functionable again. And also as he gets older, he'll have a lot of social issues. He won't relate well to people. So that's what he needs. So
stand up, we'll rock some stuff out, at least give the adults some relief.
That would be cool.
Awesome. So if you're facing due north, just go with I am clear and see if you go forward, back, or in between.
I am clear. I'm slowly moving forward, actually.
Good. And his name is Corbin. So we'll just clean him up, see what happens next. So Corbin is clear. See if you go forward, back, or in between.
Oh, no, went straight back.
Yeah, so we're going to change all that to yes for him. And these are odd curses and spells and hexes and all kinds of dark energy matters. So we're going to release all those too. Often they'll have all that on them as well. Pull you straight forward when Spirit clears all that up for him.
Okay, I'm moving forward.
Love it. And then I would say Corbin is unclear and see if you go forward, back, or in between.
Corbin is unclear. Back. Just
good,
slightly
and
back.
that's a good. Yeah. Well,
okay.
Let's make it go back further.
Well, I went.
Yeah, I'll release it. It'll go back even further. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Feel the drop. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then I would do Corbin is running forward.
Corbin is running forward. Yes, he is.
Nice. So we'll leave that. Does that make
Absolutely.
sense? So, yeah, and everything basically you're talking about, even though it might be a different quote-unquote diagnosis or a different realization or a different, terminology or wording they're using that basically falls back into the sieve, if you will, or the giant bucket of ADD, and that's what Linda's really telling you. Does that make sense? So, you can hear where she could spend 4 hours tonight on Corbin alone, and that's just part of the of the issue of the disease. It's generally pretty widespread. So, but let's see if this helps today and at least gives his mom some relief and maybe slows him down a little bit too, so he's not Mach 2 with his hair on fire. Okay.
Okay. Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Would you mind clearing some of the anxiety around his mom?
Sure. Just go ahead and make that statement. Corbin's mom is anxiety filled. See if it pulls you forward.
Corbin's mom is anxiety filled. Oh yeah.
So we're going to release it, resolve it, delete and erase it, disentangle it all out now. Have her learn all the lessons she needed to from it. Release her from the service to it. It'll pull you straight back when it leaves.
Yep, sure did.
Nice. We'll see what happens now. Okay.
I will tell you
all
what,
right.
the people that live with the people that have ADD struggle even more than the people that have ADD. It's very difficult to live in an ADD household. If you want more information, feel free to contact me at authorlindarose@gmail.com, and I can further help you perhaps. I don't know. But it is tough on the family.
Yes.
So I wish you well.
Oh, thank you so much. And I wrote down your email address. And Jimmy Mack, as always, thank you. You're awesome.
Oh, well, thank you, love. Appreciate you calling in on Valentine's Day. I hope you have a great one. Thank you.
Oh, you too. Both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy. Bye-bye. 214 is our next caller. Hi, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi there. Hi, this is Cor.
Hi, Cor. How are you?
Hi, good. Thank you. Thank you for taking my call.
You have a question for Linda or something to work on?
Yes. So last week, I don't know, maybe it was 3 weeks ago, I called in about our dog who had this virus, and he helped with it, and he seems to be doing better. But the thing I've noticed is, as far as the connection of taste, his taste buds, whenever he even drinks water or food, it's like he has the look of hunger in his eyes, yet he can't process putting it to his mouth unless we physically put it in his mouth.
Okay. How old is he now?
What's that?
How old is he now? What brand of flavor?
He is a Brussels Griffin. He's 8 years old.
Okay. So the most I would know to even do with that and to go ahead and, how long have you been having to do that, by the way?
A few months.
Okay. So it just started, but previous to that, he wasn't doing it?
No, he's always been healthy. He's never been ill. And I think on the last read, it was said that he had this virus that he got from this little insect or something that he bit on.
Okay. So now we're getting somewhere. So it feels viral to me as well. Do you want to stand up and feel the energy of it? What's his name?
Django.
Django. Let's just go ahead with Django as clear and see if you get pulled forward, back, or in between if you're standing facing due north.
Django is clear. I went forward.
We'll leave it. Django is unclear.
Django is unclear. I went back.
And Django's running forward.
I went forward.
Good. And so then we'll just make the statement, Django has a virus and the inability to drink water.
Django has a virus and an inability to drink water. I went back.
Gone now. It's safe and comfortable for Django to eat and drink normally.
Safe and normal for Django to eat. And I went forward.
So that's a change. That's really helpful. I also want to take him to kind of time travel back in time and predate that, how it is right now. In other words, on the computer reset, you'll find reset times where we go back, 3 months ago, and there was a restore point there, and that's what we want to find for him. So at 7, 6 was a good year for him. So we're just going to drop in the energy of age 6 when he is much more highly functional. It's going to pull you forward when it comes in. It's going to bring you back to neutral.
Okay, just went back.
And it'll bring you back to neutral once it's done. There we go.
Yeah, just came back.
Feel that?
Yeah.
Awesome. I work on pets all over the world, honey, so reach out if I can help you. Make sure you're on my mailing list. We send out a
Yes, it's
letter
time
on your
email, everything.
Awesome. Yeah, we send something out every week. It's all free. I mean, it's all audios and videos and things that would help, and even prayers for Django. So we'll see what happens next. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
And can I ask just one quick thing about to do with myself? I just have this block in my head that I just can't find excitement in me. Like, even little things that should be exciting, or I can't get excited. It's like it's missing in my head.
Well, if you're standing up now facing due north, just say it's safe and comfortable to get excited, and see if you go forward, back.
To get excited. No, I went back.
Change all those to yes. Release it, resolve it, delete and erase anything blocking her from it. Pull her straight forward when you're done. Thank you.
Going forward.
And it'll feel like it's filling you up, and it'll bring you back to neutral once it's done.
Yeah, I'm in the middle now, yes.
Awesome. So then I learned all the lessons I needed to from lack of excitement, and see if you go forward, back, or in between.
Back.
And let's change all that to yes, please. I'll pull you forward when it shifts. Nice. And then it'll bring you back to neutral once it's done. Feel that?
Just came back to the middle.
Awesome. Yeah. And then I would do lack of excitement still serves me.
Lack of excitement, and it went back.
Okay, that's good. So that's a change to no. I can tell you yesterday it would have been yes, but that's okay. So we'll see what happens now. Whatever you got to do to stimulate that part of you, honey, whether it's Valentine's Day today, or, maybe have a glass of champagne and walk on the beach in the forest, whatever it may be that excites you. Retail therapy, it just depends, but you definitely want to gear that up a little bit. I love pets, but you're certainly going to be on an importance level much higher than the Django. So if you work on you, being more excited about life, you'd be surprised how much of our pets, how our pets take on our stuff. So it's kind of interesting. So you become excited about life, and all of a sudden he can, feed and drink himself without you having to deal with it. So wouldn't that be interesting? Right?
Yes, I mean, it registers. Mm-hmm.
There you go, love. Thanks for calling in today. We appreciate it. Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Amazing.
Love.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, love. Appreciate it. We never know what we're going to get. Linda, do you end up working on puppy dogs too, or big bears, or lions, or just mainly the people?
I tend to work on people, and no one has ever called me about a pet.
How about the separation anxiety disorder pets? Hey, haven't you figured out, or at least feel like a lot of times they take on their quote-unquote adult owners' issues or feed on that if they've got separation anxiety disorder, or they're running around like maniacs in the house while their, owner or adult friend is gone. They get back and, the place is a mess, and but they're all excited to see them, kind of thing. I find that that's pretty much the case.
Well,
I don't know what you experience on that. Yeah, and vice versa. It's almost like the adult pet owner, if you will, their pet parent can take on those issues of that particular animal. And gosh, it doesn't matter if it's a wild, gerbil, a kitty cat, a horse. I'd be surprised what all goes on. It's very interesting. So, I love it. Anything else you'd like to add, Love?
I see oftentimes that pets resemble their owners.
Yeah.
That
even in pictures.
So they take on the same physical look. If you have shaggy, curly hair, sometimes the pet ends up like that too. But I can't say I have much experience with healing them in any way. Although I wouldn't, but it's never been requested. Usually humans call because they really have a story to tell me and they really want to express how they're feeling. So a lot of what I do is based on that. And in the process of talking to people, I find out that they have a lot more issues than they even think they have.
Right.
One person who was calling me about her husband, she was a nurse, and she says, I know my husband has dementia, and I'm sure it's mild cognitive dementia, and I'd love for you to do something on that. And and I said, well, I really would like to get a diagnosis on that because you haven't got one, and there's several types of dementia, and I'd really like to know what you'd like me to work on. So she did go to her doctor, as I asked her to do, just to get a diagnosis, and it turned out he had 2 different dementias.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and they did not know that. She did not know that. He had mild cognitive, which she suspected, but he also had another disease, which is called normopressure hydrocephalus. And so I had to heal both of them. If I had just healed one of them, they wouldn't have thought there was any success there because he still would have been left with dementia. So I really need to dig in and find out what it is that people have. Sometimes they think they know, but they're not always right. So it helps a lot. And it's very strange because that particular normal pressure hydrocephalus, which is what people used to think of if they called it water on the brain, I put those notes away because I said, well, I'll probably never get anyone else with that again. So lo and behold, I got a call about 2 months later, and someone started describing it. And lo and behold, I said, I know what that is, and I know how to fix it. So,
and over time, that becomes more prevalent. We find we attract those types of cases, if you will, or interesting.
Well, I had to do the research on it the first time, but the second time I had it all down pat, and it was very smooth going. So I've learned much while I do this. I'm learning all the time. It's amazing what I didn't know that I know now.
Right. It's all a process. I love it. Hey, our final caller we'll take is 310 area code. You're on live. Hi.
Hi, Jimmy. It's Caroline.
Hey, how are you? Out of California, right?
Hey, how are you? Yes, I'm in California.
Area code, I should know that, right? You have a question for Linda on ADD, ADHD, that sort of thing, love?
I just deal with a lot of anxiety and depression and such, and I would love some kind of help as to know what it is I am diagnosed with or what it is I need to fix, or I don't know what I'm even dealing with.
Okay, it sounds like you've got an emotional clearing need. Depression, anxiety. I'm gonna list off some of the symptoms, see if you relate to those for emotional clearing. Well, first of all, everyone's dopamine level is raised. That will make you happy, and it will take down depression. If you get your dopamine up, then your depression comes down, which is standard for me. But it involves self-confidence, optimism, feeling of adequacy, a desire to improve your situation is very important. Also, there's a lot of forgiveness involved. Sometimes the forgiveness is on the subconscious level. You might think you've forgiven somebody, but on a subconscious level you haven't. The other thing that people have with in need of an emotional clearing, they're self-sabotaging themselves. frequently.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize. I bet you are self-sabotaging yourself.
Yep.
Moodiness, worrying, fears, feeling overwhelmed, feeling of guilt. There's a lot of that going on subconsciously, even bitterness. And then physically, your emotional feelings take a toll on your physical being.
Yep.
That's what sounds like what you need. The funniest thing I find, and it's a lot of this lately, is people have a level of selfishness at only 10%, which is way too low. That means that it has nothing to do with money necessarily, although it could, but you're giving too much of yourself to others and not keeping enough for yourself. So I have to raise your standard of selfishness and bring it back.
Is there a diagnosis for me? Is there like an official diagnosis?
I don't need an official diagnosis on emotional clearing. All I have to do is someone. And did you relate to a lot of those symptoms?
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Well, that's why I don't need. You go to my website, and you'll be able to read a little bit about me and what I do, and then you can contact me at authorlindarose@gmail.com. And we can talk more. The initial call to me, there is no charge for it. If you want to call and ask about what I think you have, and if I can go forth without a symptom, without a formal diagnosis on it, which I can very often, then there's no charge for that. We can chat for a while.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right.
I love hearing your voice always.
Thank you. Thank you. You're sweet. I appreciate it. Hope everybody's doing great, and keep us posted. I'm glad you called in. Just get that information profound. It can only help you.
Always, for sure.
All right, my love. Enjoy your day. Thank you again for calling in. I appreciate it. Awesome. Hey, Linda, thanks so much. Did our hour fly by? Did it seem like 10 minutes or what?
Is it gone? Well, yes. I hope many people were listening that didn't call in, because it helps to hear about other people's troubles. Sometimes people tend to feel they're alone, and they are not alone. Everyone is struggling today. And
day and age, it's probably easier to, probably more people have ADD, ADHD, and different diseases and illnesses and disorders than those that don't. So,
15 million people are walking around with ADD, and most of them don't know it. So, yes.
Yeah, love it. Well, tell folks again the website, honey, and how to get a hold of you, okay?
Okay, the best thing to do is to go to my website. From there, everything is driven from my website, which is www.myhusbandhasadd.com. It'll take you directly to my website, where they can read testimonials. They can read a little bit about me and my background. Also, they can go to the healing page, which does describe a little bit of the form that I use. And it's just very interesting. They'll get the contact information to contact me at authorlindarose@gmail.com. And they can read a little bit about my book. All you have to do is click on Amazon. And the amazing thing about the Amazon testimonials it tells you a lot about ADD and how I help people. So there's always insight if you read these things. And, of course, the testimonials, the website will look like an ADD page. But I do that just to not attract too much negative attention. I want people to feel that they can call me for anything, but I put testimonials on for COPD, there's Parkinson's and so forth, and they're tucked right into the testimonial page.
Love it.
And you can read whatever you want and call me up. I'm very easy to talk to, and I don't charge for an initial call. And sometimes those last an hour and a half, I have to tell you.
Wow.
Get talking.
That's sweet of you to give that much of yourself, love. Thanks for being on the show. I sure appreciate it.
My pleasure, Jimmy. Always glad to talk to you. It's nice to see you, too. Come back to our club again.
That's right. And thanks for having me. I appreciate everybody. Hey, that's our show for today, folks. Reach out anytime we can help you. JimmyMackHealing.com. anything we can do to kick the ball down the road with you, we're all on board for that. I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day, and remember to be about love, even if you're not with your significant other or love of your life. Romance right now, be all about yourself, and that's okay. It's not being selfish or self-centered. It's really about preservation and gathering up that chi, that energy within yourself. I want you to feel receiving, deserving, and worthy as I say this now, and let's make the rest of your life the best of your life. Thanks so much. Have a great day, y'all. Enjoy. Bye-bye.